Yeah, I'm Jakob. I run YourSales. We help SaaS companies with their sales growth anywhere in the world by doing consulting, lead generation, and full funnel sales. When you work with product-led growth, you're working with increasing abilities to automate parts of the sales process and and it is correct that increasing parts of the sales process will eventually be automated. Now, for salespeople, does that mean that thousands and thousands of salespeople are going to be laid off by, 2024? Not so fast, right? Because what salespeople need to do is they need to they need to move themselves in direction of increasingly complex and expensive sales of new technologies that are not going to be as easy to automate sales processes for. In any kind of new technology, expensive and complex sale, the customer who's buying will need a level of interaction with a real human being in order to remove any kind of an insecurity about what it is that they're buying, right? They're hoping to not just learn from a machine, but also from an individual. So there are a couple. So there's another there's an unknown variable that we need to take that we should try to take into consideration, and that is in how far are buyers educated to buy from an automated sales process. So predictably, as people become better at buying from a bot, essentially, they will be able to make buying decisions that are more expensive, solve more complex questions with newer technology. So this is going to have to push also the sales, the threshold for where you need to start using salespeople. That threshold needs to go up as well, and that is automatically going to go up. We've seen it all, first with the introduction of remote sales decades ago. That threshold for where could you start to do inside sales, that was pushed up, and now we see product-led growth pushing those same salespeople further up the complexity and expensiveness sort of ladder of opportunities. So I think that's why there's going to be a continuous need for salespeople. They're just not going to be needed for the same products and for the same sort of levels of complexity as previously. They will need to drift upwards. Otherwise, they will indeed be in trouble. And so product qualified lead is obviously a component that it makes a lot of sense to use in your sales process. It just will depend on what are the kind of triggers that you find out are important for your particular offering, right? Because that if you take, for instance, a piece of a CRM software, for instance, customer relationship management software, there will be a usage of particular features that are buying triggers. And then on the flip side, there'll be use of particular triggers that are, nice to have, but not really super essential. And depending on which triggers get triggered, you should be able to up the score. And which features specifically, or which combination of triggers specifically result in a product qualified lead will ultimately depend on the combination of your offering and your type of customer. Totally, it should. Yeah, I mean, you can cut costs. That there are all sorts of cost cutting that you can do, and as a sales organization, of course, and you can argue that they're not done with the aim of cost cutting. But let's say that you can take a demo, for instance, for a customer. You can take that demo from, say, 45 minutes or maybe half an hour down to 10 minutes because you know specifically what the customer is interested in. That's going to translate into a vastly improved customer experience. And that may be the aim, because that will be what eventually also lands them as a customer, right? However, on the flip side of that, hand in hand with that, you'll have a cost reduction, or at least a customer acquisition cost reduction, because you spend less time on each customer, and so you can handle more customers with the same available sales time. And so each sales professional can cover a larger patch, a larger territory, and that that relationship between cost and the amount of revenue that cost drives, if you know what I mean, is going to be going in a positive direction for businesses. I just don't think that it's necessarily the first aim, but it is because I think people will be worried first and foremost about what's the best possible customer experience that drives the most most conversions. But the resulting cost cutting, or the resulting change in the relationship between cost and revenue, is going to be very beneficial as well. You need to think through your metrics and what you were, but this is with any kind of major tooling change in your organization. Rather than just taking on tools for the sake of taking on tools, in this example, taking on product-led growth tools because everybody is talking about them is probably not the right way to go about it. Rather, try to see if you have a business model that can facilitate product-led growth, and then look at the kinds of problems you need to solve, and find software or find solutions, not even necessarily software, but very likely software indeed. Try to find solutions that fit with the kinds of problems that you need to have them fit with. Make sure that they integrate with the rest of the technology stack that you have in your company, so that you don't introduce more friction in the sales process. It should be the other way around, right? You should try to use the power of product-led growth tools to reduce the friction for the customer and for salespeople and for the rest of the organization. I think the most important with product-led growth and any kinds of sales technology in general is how it facilitates an improved customer experience, and how the bar for what can be done with a type of selling is moving up all the time. So you may be seeing right now that you're moving 5-digit deals with a purely automated sales funnel per deal, and it's going to be interesting to see when that moves into the 6 and the 7 digits per deal. And the same can be said for any other type of selling, right? For inside sales moving upwards. And as always, as I have actually for the past sort of better half of 20 years, I am slightly worried for the field sales reps who are strictly in the field, because there's no more expensive way to sell to customers than that. And if they don't float upwards, following the threshold that I mentioned previously, they're in deep trouble. Yeah, it was great to be on 100% Successeve. Thanks a lot for having me.